In this video, it will show you step by step on how to disassemble, how to replace and clean the cooling fans and the heatsink, how to change the thermal pads and the thickness of the pads, and how to repaste. What's up everyone? If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing and click the notification bell so that if there's a new video coming out, you will be notified. There is a link in the description down below in each videos for the tools and equipment I've used, which is available to purchase in Amazon.com in United States and Amazon.co.uk in United Kingdom if you're interested to get one. Let's begin the tutorial. In this video, I will show you three options. The first option is if you want to just remove the front shroud and replace the fans. To remove the front shroud, you remove 6 screws. Plus, if you want to replace the fans, you have to remove 12 screws. And then the second option, if you want to replace the thermal pads and the thermal paste, and also to clean overall the heatsink and the PCB, you have to remove 14 screws to detach the PCB and the heatsink. And the third option, if you want to remove the backplate, which is you need to do the second option, which is you remove 14 screws before you can access the backplate. So the backplate has, there's a 14 screw that you are going to do the second option, plus the backplate is attached to the PCB, which is you have to unscrew 5 screws. But first, the screwdriver I'm going to use is battery powered screwdriver called Wow Stick, and the screw bits for this video is 2 screw bits that I'm going to use. It's a Phillips screw VH0 and a Phillips screw VH1. So let's begin the tutorial. I'm going to show you the first option, which is to remove the front shroud. So I'm going to use the smaller screw bits, which is VH0. So the screw that you're going to remove is just 6 to remove the front shroud. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. So this is the first option. So now the 6 screw has been removed, so you can lift up the front shroud. So the front shroud, it has cable for the light, for the logo here. So there is a cable attached to it. Just one cable, this one here, that goes around here and goes there. So well, before we do that, so you already exposed the fan. By the way, the front shroud is made of metal and the 3 fans are also made of metal. So I think all the ASUS TUF model GPU has metal front shroud, backplate, and the fans. So now, so that's the 6 screw just to remove the front shroud. But if you go further to remove or replace one of each fan or the 3 fans, you have to remove 12 screws. So each fan has 4 screws, so 12 in total. Okay, so I will show you. So we have to clear this first. So you have to unscrew the 4 screws of each fan. With the fan, I have to replace my bits to VH1, which is a bit bigger than the VH0. And then that's 4. That's 3. This is the 4th one. Okay, so this is the 4th one, the 3rd one. Okay, so all the 12 screws of the fans has been unscrewed. So by the way, these two fans here on each side is identical. This one is different. The one in the middle is different. So the different one is the orientation of the blades. So this, but the rotation of these three fans are the same direction, but the other one, I think this one is blowing to the heatsink, these two, and this one is exhaust going out. So that's the difference. So now I will show you the part number of each fan. So this first one that I show you is the fan which is far other end, far from the bracket. So here's the bracket. So this one first I'll show you. So here's the part number. What? Hang on. There's the part number. I'll just put this one in a screenshot. And the one on the opposite side, opposite end. So here it is. So this fan I'm showing you now is the one which is close to the bracket. This one here. And the one on the middle. So this is the middle one. Okay, so if you, just in case if you need to replace one of the fans, this fan here, the one which is close to the bracket, is connected here. So you can only detach this fan from here, and this fan, and also there's a junction here, so you can remove these two from here as well, but these two is linked together. The middle one and the one is close to the bracket, this one is separate, but they are linked together in one cable going to one 4-pin connector here. Okay, so that's the three fans. And then to remove the connector of the fan, I recommend to use a special tools which is more easier for you to remove the connector and safely. This one here, or you can use like long nose pliers, but this one is better than long nose because it has this different end here. This will grip the plastic bit of the connector. So I'll show you. So the connector is, it's like a crocodile. How do you call this one connector? I'll show you. It has a clip. Some fan connector is just like you have to push it in and out, but this one you need to grip before you pull it out. So you have to grip first because there's lacking. I can't explain it to you, but I will show you. See? So the fan connector has this kind of locking mechanism. I don't know if you can see it. This one here, so you have to grip this one to open up. I'll show you. See, you have to grip this one, grip and push this one downwards first before you pull the connector out. Otherwise it could break this plastic bit, it could damage it. So there's the fan. So you can clean now the fan if you want to, the underneath area of the fan, and you can blow with the air blower the dust here in the heatsink. So this is the first option. And there's another connector which is that links to the light of the front shroud, this one here. So same areas the connector goes, but next to the fan connector here. So same thing, you have to grip the connector before you pull it out. So just be careful not to damage the connector because they are very delicate. See, it's more easier and safer to remove the connector by using this kind of pliers. So I really recommend to use this, to buy one of these. Just check the description down below. And then that is the first option. So the second option is if you want to change the thermal pads and the thermal paste only, and you don't need to replace or remove the fan, all you're going to remove is 14 screw at the back, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this 14 screw is the one who holds the heatsink from the PCB. So you have to remove those 14 screw if you want to change the thermal pads and the thermal paste. And you don't need to do the first option to remove the fan. So you don't need to do that if you just want to change the thermal paste and the thermal pads. Okay, so I will show you. By the way, this GPU, all the thermal pads and the thermal paste inside is still stuck from the factory. This one is still sealed. The screw seal is still intact, so it's not been opened before. So what you see, the thickness of the thermal pad is still from the manufacturer, from ASUS. Okay, so we have to unscrew the 14 screw. So this 14 screw, I have to use the VH1, the bigger screw bits. Hang on. Okay, we're gonna start here. So we just remove this 4 screw that attached to the GPU die last. So we unscrew first this remaining screw here. So always pay attention with the screw that you remove because they are not identical screw. Right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this 10 screw, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've used a VH1 screw bits, but this 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to use the smaller bits, the VH0. So the identical screw is this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have this kind of screw, a bigger screw, and with a spring attached to it. And then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 screw is this one, smaller one. And this 4 screw that is attached to the GPU die itself is a bit smaller screw. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to break the seal now. I need a smaller one. So for this screw is a smaller bits, which is VH0. Okay, so this is also have a spring on it. Okay, so that is the 14 screw in total that we remove. So we have to check again. So hopefully we can detach now the PCB from the heatsink to replace the thermal pads and the thermal paste. So to do that, you have to separate this one, but be gentle, be careful not to damage anything. Hang on, let me check again, just to make sure nothing is attached. Okay, looks good. Ooh. There we go. Right, now all the thermal pads has been exposed. So that's the second option. That's the first and the second option. And the third option, which is you cannot do the third option without doing the second option. So you have to do the second option first, remove that 14 screw at the back what we just done, and then you have to remove 5 screw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the third option is to, if you want to remove the bracket separate from the PCB. So if you want to remove this one here, so you do the third option. There is a heatsink, thermal pads also underneath this backplate. So the backplate is made of metal as well, thick metal, which is really good. Yeah, so I will show you that. So this is the third option. You have to remove 5 screws. So always pay attention, and remember to remove the backplate, you need to do the second option first before you can do that. So this is the third option, to remove the backplate. So to remove the backplate, I have to change again my bits to the VH1, which is a bit bigger. Okay, so remove the first screw, second screw, third, it's very handy if your screw bit is a magnetic one, so I always recommend to use a magnetic screw bits. So last one, the fifth one. Okay, so you can detach the backplate from the PCB. But before I forgot, when you work with a GPU, always put this connector cover, always, because if you scratch this one, it potentially cause you problem. So always put cover on if you're working with a GPU. So now we have to separate the backplate, so always be careful because the PCB is right. So now this is the back plate, the back of the PCB. So this is the inside one, and this is the back. It has a lot of thermal pads. It's quite thick, and this one is so thin, and this one is so thick. So all the thermal pads on this GPU is still in really good shape. So as you can see, look, the thickness, there's no crack on it. It's really good condition, so I don't need to replace the thermal pads, only the thermal paste, obviously. So okay, so it's time to measure the thickness of the thermal pads. So the tools that I'm going to use to measure the thickness is this one. This is called a vernier caliper, but this one is a digital vernier caliper, which is powered by a battery. There's a manual caliper, which is you don't need to put a battery. This one is a digital, so it's more easier. So if you're interested one of these, I'll put the link in the description down below. And this one you have to push on, and make sure you have to press this 0 to reset to 0. Right, the first thermal pads that we're going to measure is the VRAM. The VRAM is this area here. This one, this, and this is the VRAM. So I'm going to use a prying tools. This one, I'll put in the description down below as well if you're interested to buy one of these prying tools. So this one, I'm gonna use that one. So ASUS use a softer kind of thermal pads for this GPU, which is good because softer pads can easily adapt in different thickness. So when you to measure the thickness, you have to start with the bigger one, open the caliper, and then slowly it's 1.5. So the VRAM, look, is exactly 1.5. So VRAM is 1.5 millimeter. And this area here, this is the VRMs. So the VRMs has different kind of components. All this area here, this is part of the VRMs. So 1.5 for the VRAM, and for the VRMs is a bit thicker. Okay, so we have to open up a bit more that you could see it. So this is the VRMs. So the VRMs, look, so the VRMs is 2mm. So this one also the VRMs, so they have same thickness. Let me check. Oh, this one is different. This is the VRMs as well as this one. These are the VRMs as well, but it looks like it has a different thickness. So the one that I measured earlier is the one is close to the bracket, which is this one here is 2mm VRMs. This one, the one away from the bracket, it looks like it's a bit thicker than the left side VRMs. Let me check. So this one, so this VRMs here, which is 2mm, so we'll find this out. It looks like it is thicker. So I have to open up a little bit. So we'll start with 3 plus. So it's 2.5. See? No, this is not 2.5. This is 3mm. It's so thick. So this is 3mm. So this VRMs on this side has a thicker one, which is 3mm. On my left side is 2, and my right side is 3. So I will show you the difference of the thickness. See? Can you see the difference? This one is 2, and this one is 3. So they are both from the VRMs, but it's from different location. So this one on the 2mm is the bracket side, and the outer side is the thicker one. Goes here. So that is the thickness of the inner part of the PCB. So the VRAM 1mm, VRMs on my left side is 2, and the VRMs on my right side is 3. So we're going to measure the outer side of the PCB. There's one more here. There's 2 more here. There's 2 more. Which is attached in the heatsink. This one here goes this part of the VRMs. This is black small chips, and this one here that goes in here. So we're going to measure that as well. This one looks like, let me guess, it's a bit thicker than the VRAM, which is 1mm. This one is, oh, it's 2mm. And this is also, so this outer part of the VRMs, which is the one that goes on these chips here, the smaller chips. So this one is, so this outer part of the VRMs, this one here, is 1.5mm. And the opposite end is also from the right hand side of the VRMs, this one here that goes on these chips. So this one here goes here. This is a bit thicker. It's 2mm. It's 2mm. So this VRMs on my left is 1.5 and this one is 2. But don't make yourself confused. Just to save money, you can just use 2mm instead of 1.5 here. You can use 2mm here instead of 1.5 just to save money. And then just to make sure, use the softer part, a kind of thermal pad, so that it could squeeze in and adapt the gap difference. So instead of using 1.5, you can just use 2.0, so that you can just use it here as well. 2.0, that's fine. But if you prefer to use the actual, like the measurements from the stock, from the factory, so you can use, this one is 1.5, this is 2.0. So we've done this inner part of the PCB. So we're gonna measure the outer part of the PCB. So there's two kind of thickness here. The outer part, which is the back, that is attached to the backplate, like that. So this is the outer part. So this one, so this area here, this will goes to the VRAM, and this one is just a heatsink for these chips here. This 3 is for the back area of the VRAM. This is 3 here. So it's quite thick. So I'll show you. Let's start with 3.5. It's 3mm. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 3mm, and this area here, this goes to the back of the VRMs, back of these chips here. This is quite thin, very thin. It's 0.75mm. It's 0.75mm. This one is 74, but this one here is 0.75, so it's less than 1mm. So this GPU has four different kind of thickness. So there's 2mm. The VRAM is 1mm. The VRMs, this one here, there's 1mm. This one is 1mm, and the VRMs on my left is 2mm, and the VRMs on my right is 3mm, and the outer part of my left, still part of the VRMs, which is 1.5, and the outer part of the VRMs, this one is 2mm, which is same with this VRM 2. On the outer part, or the outer side of the PCB, it has 3mm, this 4, and this is 0.5. So how many different, so many different thickness? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 different thickness just for this GPU. It's insane. Okay, so my suggestion is this one. Instead of 1.5, you can use 2.02mm for this one. So this is the stock from the factory. Okay. By the way, before I forgot, I've noticed a thermal pads underneath this heatsink here. Because this one, you can remove this one as well. See? And there is a thermal pads underneath that goes here. So the thickness of this one is similar to, it looks like 2.2mm. Let me check. It's 2.5mm. This one here. So this one here is 2.5. Oh my god, this has 6 different thickness. Can't believe it. This one here has a 2.5mm thickness. So to clean the residue, I always recommend to use the 99.9% of isopropyl alcohol. Don't use the 70%. Always use the 99.9% because it could dissipate quickly. It's more safer to use for the PCB. And just use microfiber cloth, and also to wipe all the dust here, use just a normal paintbrush. And also I have a recommendation to use I recommend to use this one. Is an air blower. It's made by Makita, which is driven by 18 volts LXT battery. So this is the actual model, the Makita DAS 180. It's an air blower which is really powerful to clean all the dust from the heatsink. It has power modes here, up to 4. So I recommend to buy one of these. The link in the description down below. This is a brushless motor from Makita. Okay, so I'm going to clean this one first, the sink. I'm going to remove this one. And then blow this one with the air blower as well. So now I already finished this one, so I have to put it back. So this one goes like that, so that goes in there. Okay, that goes in here. Only one direction, isn't it? Right, and this one goes here. You know what? It's more easier for me too. When putting in thermal pads, make sure do your best not to stretch the pads, because that could change the thickness of the pads if you stretch that. So be careful. And this one goes here. Okay, so this one is done. So it's time for the PCB. So this one, I have to remove to clean the PCB first. Look at this one. This is from the factory, so it's very obvious that it's not been properly covered, the VRAM chip. 30% of the area is not been covered. That's the problem sometimes in the factory, because it's mass produced, so they're working too fast. Sometimes there's a lot of error. I always recommend, even if your GPU is still new, after 6 months of use, start replace with the new thermal pads, especially if you're a heavy gamer. So right, it's time to last one. Be gentle with this one because it's so thin, so make sure you're not. Okay, so it's time to clean the PCB. So we're going to clean the PCB with an alcohol. If you see like a moisture, some GPU has a moisture on the PCB. So like this one, there's a bit of moisture from the heat and from the thermal pads over time. So to clean that, you use the isopropyl alcohol and put it in a brush. Wait, I'm gonna clean this one first. The one on the... and then we're gonna use a brush. And then use these prying tools to remove these residues sticking on the around the die. Okay, so to remove the moisture here in the PCB, this is how you do it. Just put an alcohol on the brush and then brush it. Alright, this one I have to remove this one because so that I could clean this one as well. have to rub all the chips, all the areas that has thermal pads. You have to make sure to clean it, remove all the residue from the pads. Okay, so we go to the other side. This one has a bit of moisture as well. To make sure to brush it again, to make sure the very fine fiber from the microfiber cloth will be removed. And this one here. Alright, it's all clean now, but make sure to dry the PCB fully. So to do that, I have to use this handy dandy air blower. So I'll show you. This is a wet from the alcohol, so I'll show you. Look what happened to the alcohol. So all the alcohol that is hiding underneath the chips is spitting out. So make sure everything will be dried up. Can you see it? And now the PCB is totally dry, so I have to put it back, all the thermal pads. So this one goes here. This one goes here. So it's time for this side. So this one goes there. I just wonder why this one is too long. So I'm going to clean, and there's one here, same thickness with this one, is 0.75 millimeter, this one here, that goes here as well. So it's sticking on here. So I didn't notice that. It's clean. So it's time to put it back together. The first thing I'm gonna do is to put it back the backplate. So first, this goes here. So make sure all those screw mount, this one, the 5 screw, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is perfectly aligned with the designated holes. So this one goes here, this 2 goes there. So you have to align that. Make sure you have to put the cover on. just to be safe. So make sure all the pads is there.
Don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna
Line the screw holes. So check the other side. First screw goes here. Then next I will put the opposite end, this one here.
I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through hell.
Okay, so the backplate has been placed, so it's time for this side. So this one.
Wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness.
And this goes here. So let me check again. So make sure all the pads is in place. This one goes there. Here goes here. It's very important. The VRAM and the VRMs. Looks perfect. So for this GPU I'm going to use the SYY thermal paste. This is also a good quality one. So this is I'm going to use for this video. I always recommend to spread the thermal paste with a spreader so that it could distribute evenly in the GPU die. So now we have to attach the PCB to the heatsink. So the most important is to these 4 screw mounting points here where perfectly goes in these 4 holes here. So you have to align that one perfectly.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the.
So the first thing to screw in is this 4 screw that goes to the GPU die. So this one goes here. So the screw bits that I'm going to use for this 4 screw is the smaller bits, the VH0. So I have to swap this one over. And then when you screw it in, you have to screw gradually in a crisscross pattern. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on until it locks in.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna.
So I have to screw in this 4 screw manually so that I could control the torque.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play
So all the 4 screws in place. So it's time for these 4 big screw with a spring on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this 6 screw, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so all the back has been done, so it's time for the fans. So before I put it back the fans, I make sure the fan are cleaned, especially inside. And the front shroud. So it's time to put it back the fans, so make sure you're not gonna. So this one with the logo is the one on the center. So this one goes here. The only tricky one with this one is to connect the fan connector, but the first, before you connect the connector of the fan, you have to connect the connector of the LED for the front shroud, because it's gonna be tricky for you to connect this LED connector if the fan is already connected. So you have to connect this one using these tools. Make sure you grip it. To make sure it's pushed in. So the LCD connector is in place. So that goes, the wire goes here. Okay, so the wire goes back like this. Like the original orientation of the wire goes there, and it goes here. Before that, we have to connect the fan. So this will go like this, so I have to connect the fan using my handy dandy tools. This is not a 4-pin fan, it has a 1, 2, let me count it for you. This is not 4-pin. This has, I don't know if you can, it's not focusing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-pin fan connector. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So this is not. So always make sure it's pushed in fully, otherwise it could cause problem with the fans. So make sure the locking top is fully closed. That's it. Have to check it again. Make sure it's okay. So make sure all these mounting points of the fan goes perfectly to the holes. So this one goes here. Alright, I have to screw this in. So I'm going to use the VH1, the bigger one, for this one. So the screw that I'm going to screw it in first is this one here, so that it will not gonna move. Make sure it's flat. This one here, and this. So the one in the middle I'm gonna use the tweezer to make it easier. Okay, so now make sure all the fan is sitting correctly in the fan screw holes. I normally use a manual screwdriver when I work with a fan. It's more easier for me because this one is not long enough, so I'm going to use which is equivalent to VH1, same size. So like this, Phillips screwdriver is more easier. So now catches in the screw. Perfect. So this one, so make sure the screw mounting area perfectly in the screw holes. That's it. Check the other two. Perfect. Right, so make sure to check if it is free to spin, it doesn't catches. Okay, that's perfect. So this one, make sure to push this one in fully. Okay, and it's time for the front strap. So make sure the wire goes hidden here. It's time for the last 6 screw. So the screw bits I'm going to use, I have to swap it over. I need to swap with the smaller one, the VH0. So this is a very tiny screw. So I just screw in first the one on the middle, and then the opposite side. So the last screw. So make sure you have to check everything. Spin the fans, make sure it doesn't catches in the edge here. Looks perfect. And visually checks all the screw holes, make sure all the screw is put it in. One here at the back. Looks perfect. Okay, that's the end of the tutorial. If you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing. That's a big help for this channel grow, and I can carry on making more tutorial videos like this one. Share and click that thumbs up icon. Thank you so much for watching.